Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC CoinRoll International Coin Channel. Today we're going to take a look at the 1985 Denver Mint set from the United States of America. You can see over here we have the penny, the quarter, the nickel, the dime, and then way down underneath we have the $50. We're going to talk about how many they made of each of these coins at the Denver Mint, and we're going to talk about which ones are the valuable ones and which ones you should just take and spend. Probably we should start with the penny, because this is going to be a take and a spend, and you can tell that when you see it. This coin came out of a mint set, and so you can see it has some pretty good detail on it, but it got some of the wash on it at the mint, and that wash kind of stuck to it and made a mess of it. Once in a great while you get one of these in a mint set, and if you do take it out, just spend it. At the top of it, it says, "In God We Trust." It's President Lincoln facing to the right, 1985 down here in front of him, and there's a D for the Denver Mint right there. Behind Lincoln, you can see it says Liberty, and if we go way down in, even though this isn't a great coin, you can still see the initials really well because it is a uncirculated mint coin. Then we get over to the back and we see that the back isn't in such great shape either. It says United States of America at the top, 1 cent here. Way down inside we see Lincoln. Over here on the right we see the FG for Frank Gasparo. At the Denver Mint in 1985 they made 5.3 billion pennies. They found 10 so far at an MS69 that are worth $2,400 each. So the best penny you can get from 1985 is probably worth about $2,400. Next up is a Jefferson Nickel from 1985. It says, "In God We Trust" in front of Jefferson, Liberty behind him. There's a star there, and this star looks really fine and very detailed. When we magnify it up though, we see that there's a little bit of a doubled rim there, and that's not a doubled rim that's going to give us any extra value. That's a doubled rim that just makes the coin look a little bit messy there, and you see a little chunk out of it. Great dates though for the 1985, and this is one of the years that they used that kind of funny 5 on there. You can see how the 5 kind of points down at the end. Then down here below you see the D for the Denver Mint. At the Denver Mint in 1985, they made 460 million nickels. They found 3 so far at a Mint State 67 full steps, and those go for about $2,500. When we look at the steps on this one, we see that we have about 2 of the 5 steps that are full, and the rest of them you can't see. And of course this is Monticello on the back. It says E Pluribus Unum at the top, Monticello on the back, 5 cents, and United States of America here underneath. And here's the dime from 1985. At the Denver Mint in 1985, they made 588 million dimes. It says Liberty in front of Roosevelt, "In God We Trust" underneath his chin and neck. And you know, this is one of those worn out die years where you see the I and the W for the "In God We Trust" kind of worn out there. The date looks fine, however, and the initials JS for John Sinek look good down here. This 5 here on the dime compared to the 5 on the nickel, and you'll see that they actually use a different kind of typeset on the nickels than they do on the dimes. And this is a 5 that kind of goes straight down like open-ended, and this is a 5 that kind of gets pointy and is like a half moon on the bottom. At the Denver Mint for the dimes, they have found 4 so far at a Mint State 68 that are worth $1,750. They made some really nice quarters in 1985. You can see these have quite a few more details, but when we get up here, you see again, we see that the letters here on the top are a little worn, the T and the Y especially over here, and that Washington doesn't have a lot of detail in his hair or really even in his face. You can see the D here, and we'll check on the initials underneath, and that's the John Flanagan initials, and we see that they don't come out that well either. They're very faint right there above the 5. And you see this is another one of those 5s with the open-ended bottom on it that looks much like the 5 on the dime. The quarter in 1985 was a clad quarter, a copper nickel clad quarter. And we get over onto the back, we see that we do have some good feathers on the chest here of the eagle, but when we get up around its head and eyes and look at the little cowlick, very little detail there. Down here we don't see a real good center line on the arrow feather, but we do see some pretty good detail in the ribbon and the tail feathers of the eagle as it goes down through. $quarter on the bottom. They made 520 million quarters, and the best they found so far are two Mint State 67 pluses, $4,250. So there's some good quarters from 1985, but you have to have all the detail on these to get those. The highest value coin that they made in 1985, other than some ceremonial dollars, was the Kennedy, and it says Liberty around the top. We see God in front of him, We Trust behind him. There's a D down there, and that's, of course, for the Denver Mint. And then way down in underneath, we see a G and an R. The half dollars from 1985 were the best coins in terms of quality of any of the coins from 1985. They made 20 million of them, and they found one so far at a Mint State 68 half dollar, and that goes for about $5,000. It says United States of America around the top, E pluribus unum, and this is a really, really detailed eagle, just the opposite of the 1 1/4. You can actually see the kind of neck feathers here, the feathers on the chest right above the shield. We get down here and you can see some really good definition in the olive branch on this side, and some really good definition in the arrows on this side. Down here you see the initials Frank Gasparo for the engraver of the back of this coin. United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum on the ribbon. The stars all look really good. And then down here at the bottom it says half and dollar, and right above the half dollar are 50 stars that go all the way around the coin. So the half dollar coin is the most valuable coin from 1985 at $5,000. Next up would be the quarter at $4,250, then the nickel at $2,500, the penny at $2,400, and then finally the highest priced dime from 1985 was $1,750. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coinwell International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to the channel. Leave any comments you have in the comments section.